Have you read one of these books? Do you remember unlocking the rune plate body and killing Elvard? Or do you remember the day they released the King Black Dragon? Did you get to experience a How to Train Your Dragon film in theaters? Well, then you understand that dragons are fucking cool. Wizards of the Coast have been doing this for ages. I'll never forget my first Dungeons and Dragons module and seeing this giant red dragon on top of a monstrous pile of gold. I'll never forget reading the original TSR novels and watching the main characters battle up against icing death. Dragons are one of the most loved, if not coolest mythical creatures ever created in fantasy. And of course, Wizards of the Coast knocks them out of the park. Look at these awesome dragons. And let's not forget the most iconic Shivan dragon. But wait, when I go on Moxfield and other websites, the dragon decks aren't running Shivan dragon. Hell, they're barely running dragons. Miram, Ur-Dragon, Tiamat, Sign of the Ur-Dragon. Bro, they're just combo decks. No, legit. Like, I get it. Terror on the Peaks, kind of a strong card. Like, no Sherlock. But look, we just talked about how awesome dragons are. If you like Magic, why wouldn't you want to build a dragon deck? They're cool, like really cool. But the combo's just not my vibe. Like, I want the dragons to do the winning and the attacking and hold on, let me explain. A real dragon deck should feel like you're this tiny little wizard with great power going to the top of a giant volcano and calling upon, let me just do it actually.
Must make it to the top of the volcano. Hear me, fearsome dragon, and look at my mighty magics. I shall now ask thee to do thy bidding. Go to the town and destroy the other 3 players attempting to beat me. Nothing shall rival the dragons. Shivan dragon, attack!
Like, that's what it should be like, man. Like, do I really need to give up my flavor for function? Nah, boy, welcome to DefCat MTG, a channel where we make you the best decks. This deck's brought to you by our patron Soul. They purchased a deck and an entire video for me to show you. They asked for a commander we'll reveal and for it to be a dragon deck. And they wanted bracket 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you want your own deck and your own entire video, head to the Patreon, baby. Get your own. Get that thing. I was requested to build you guys a dragon deck using Vivi. I'm gonna be showing you the bracket 2 version of this with no infinites, no combos. We're gonna win through straight dragon prowess and damage, baby. Flinging dragons every turn at our opponents. I'm gonna teach you 4 things: what your opening hand should look like, what you should be doing by at least turn 5, how to win, and some big advice and secret tech. So, your opening hands. They should contain at minimum at least 2 lands and a mana rot, or 3 lands. Anything more than that, I'd ship it back. We don't need more. All we need to do is get VV out. Other than 3 lands, you want at least 1 pump spell. That means a spell that you can cast on VV to make their power go up so you make more mana. The third thing you need, a dragon. So once you have at least 3 mana, a pump spell, and a dragon, that means you can mold a 5 very safely in this deck. And then a nice to have is a draw spell, specifically the ones that have an X cost in them, so you can draw a ton of cards. What do you want to do by turn 5? By turn 5, VV should be out, be at minimum 3 or 4 power, and you should have at least 2 to 3 dragons on the board. The idea here is now, on your turn, you get to choose between casting a big dragon, or 2, and casting a big draw spell. That way you can refill your hand with more dragons. And now every turn should be you slamming dragons. And then, if VV is already high enough power and you really don't need any more mana, instead, you can use your pump spells on your dragons. Make them attack in harder. Speaking of which, let's talk about how to win. This deck wins one of 2 ways. The first one is our Hail Mary card, baby. Dragon Storm and Dragon Kinesis. Dragon Storm being the big one. Cast all your draw spells, cast your pump spells, activate VV, and then boom! Dragon Storm gets like 5 or 6 dragons from your deck straight from your library onto the battlefield, and you swing out, baby. It's disgusting. Win con number 2. A ton of our dragons, like the aforementioned Shivan dragon, allows you to pay mana to pump the dragon. And very often, we're gonna be swinging all of our dragons in on somebody, pumping their asses up, and killing them with one big swing. And we're gonna take out 1 person at a time in this deck, baby. The wizard is conquering 1 city at a time. Cool, so some advice and secret tech. First of all, when you pump your dragons, do it after blockers are declared. Ask if they have blocks, and if they don't, then pump. That way you don't randomly use up all your mana and get eaten by removal. Number 2, cast your dragons in second main phase if they don't have haste. Go ahead and do your attacks, see if you get hit by removal, then cast. You don't want your big new dragon to get eaten by the removal. Also, never attack with VV. And a really fun, flavorful way in this deck to talk about it, when I've played it so far with my friends, I've told them, VV is a wizard on the edge of a volcano overlooking a tower. I will never be attacking with them. You guys do not have to worry about that. This deck is a roleplay deck. After that, like we talked about earlier, make sure to use your pump spells on your dragons later when you already have enough mana. So if you're ready to play a real man's dragon deck, no combos, no BS, full on chucking dragons at your friend, you found your deck. Let's get into what's in the deck. Ancient Silver Dragon. I have casted this dragon in my deck on turn 4. I had gotten VV out on turn 2. On turn 3, I had cast Harmonic Prodigy and some draw spells. And on turn 4, I used a pump spell and then it double triggered VV and I had 8 mana for this. On turn 5, I drew 16 cards. Now that's a dragon. Balefire Dragon. Balefire Dragon is the giant monstrous dragon that lives atop the village tower. And whenever it attacks, when it deals damage to a player, it deals that much damage to all their creatures. This is going to take out those pesky elf players, baby. Blue Dragon. Shout out to my D&D homies. When Blue Dragon enters the battlefield, you're going to be able to put a -3, -0, and some other minus things on your opponent's creatures. It allows you to get the threat down off of other people. But the big reason we're playing it, Blue Dragon, because Blue Dragon, Cavern Horde Dragon. Dear God, look at the Lord of the Rings art for this. It looks so cool. If you have a dirty affinity player, this is going to hit them hard. It costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. And it's got flying, trample, haste. And whenever you hit them, you make treasure tokens for as many artifacts as they have. That's a dragon. Ancient Copper Dragon. Whenever you deal damage to a player with this dragon, roll a d20, make that many treasures, baby. I have in fact hit a nat 20 on this dragon while playing this deck, and I did in fact then spend all 20 treasures to draw 20 cards through one of our spells. Goldspan Dragon. What if those treasure tokens tapped and sacked for twice the amount of mana, baby? It's cannon on a dragon. Harmonic Prodigy. So in the Elminster novels, Elminster has 3 daughters. I RP'd VV a little bit like that, so I've added his 3 daughters into the deck. Harmonic Prodigy is meant to be his youngest daughter. Harmonic Prodigy makes VV trigger twice, meaning whenever you cast a non-creature spell, VV will receive 2 +1/+1 counters. Hellkite Tyrant, Flying and Trample. Whenever Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, steal all of their artifacts. And if you control 20 or more artifacts on your upkeep, you win the game. And guess what? That is one of our win cons, baby. Lathliss Queen Dragon, or Dragon Queen, my bad. Whenever a non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 flying dragon. And then the best thing we can ever do in this deck, for 2 mana, we can pump all of our dragons by +1/+0. Niv-Mizzet Perun. Whenever you draw a card, Niv-Mizzet deals 1 damage to an opponent. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card. Niv-Mizzet the Firemind. Whenever you draw a card, deal 1 damage to an opponent. Have fun. Next, every wizard has their pet companion and little visionary that helps them accomplish some pesky deeds. So of course, we added in our favorite little noodler, Ragavan. On many a quest and adventure, Ragavan was your small little friend that got you into many troubles at many taverns, but in the end of the day, always somehow brought you some treasure. Red Dragon, because Red Dragon. Plus, when it enters the battlefield, it does 4 damage to each opponent, and that's just such a cool entrance bang. Shivan Dragon. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to use Shivan Dragon, baby. It's time to use Magic's OG dragon. I love you. Thundermane Dragon. It allows you to look at the top of your library at any time, and then it allows you to cast creature spells CMC 4 or greater from your library. And then it gains haste. Twin Flame Tyrant. It's gonna double any sorts of damage you deal to your opponents. Utvara Hellkite. Whenever a dragon attacks, create a 6/6 flying dragon, baby. More dragons! Veyrin, Elminster's second daughter. Veyrin Voice of Duality is the same thing as Harmonic Prodigy in that it will double the triggers of VV. And our last dragon of the deck, Wrathful Red Dragon. It allows you to double any damage effect that happened to your dragons and send them toward any non-dragon. Meaning if someone deals 5 damage to one of our dragons, either by blocking or by shooting it, we can now send 5 damage wherever we want as long as it's not a dragon. Sorceries, Blasphemous Act. If someone gets a bunch of mana dorks down early, we see an elf ball player going out, and the only thing we have out is our VV yet, and still no dragons, Blasphemous Act is a great board wipe. Brain Geyser, Blue Sun Zenith, Pull from Tomorrow, and Stroke of Genius, although we're getting into instants a little bit, are all a part of a cycle that we need in this deck. It allows us to use our insane amounts of mana that we'll have late game to draw a ton of cards and keep ourselves going. Curse of Swine. Let's wipe the board of those pesky giant creatures trying to stop us from doing our thing, especially an opponent dragon player. Turn them all into 2/2 pigs. I know it says boar, they piggies. Oink oink. Dragon Storm, the namesake of the deck. This is our win con, or at least one of them, and allows us to cast this after we've casted a bunch of spells and pumped our VV, and then go get all the dragons we want from our deck and have some fun. Faithless Looting. It's a draw spell. We like that. And it pumps VV. Finale of Promise. So many times in this game, there's going to be big spells that either got countered or we want to cast again, and Finale of Promise allows us to go to get both of them. Fit of Rage, Reckless Charge, Seething Anger, Wild Ride. All cards that allow us to both activate or trigger VV and pump VV up so we can activate for big mana. And my favorite one, Haze of Rage. Haze of Rage also allows us to buy it back from graveyard, which is insanely sick. But it says creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and it's got Storm, baby. So if we cast like 6-7 spells, this is gonna give us 8 extra mana. Mind's Desire. This is in the deck for pure fun. Let's say you cast 4 or 5 spells, you got mana left over and no dragons left in hand. Mind's Desire allows you to spin your deck, flip the top card, and if it's a permanent or a spell, as long as it's non-land, you cast it for free. This card was in my first pre-con I ever purchased in Magic. It was a 2011 dual deck that I bought from Walmart. I actually just bought this for a friend for his birthday to commemorate the first time me and him ever played Magic together. I'm really excited to gift it to him. Seagate Restoration. Oftentimes, we genuinely cast this card. It allows us to draw a ton of cards and have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. And then it doubles it as a land. Shatter Skull Smashing. Sometimes you need land, sometimes you need to smash some skulls. Will of the Jeskai. It either allows you to get a bunch of the instant or sorceries back from your graveyard that you really need in order to keep pumping VV, or it's a wheeling effect. So if you flood out and have a bunch of lands, this is the perfect way to get them out. Instants. We have some counter magic in the form of Offer You Can't Refuse. An insanely good pump spell, +4/+3, Antagonize. Super good, especially for 2 mana. Blazing Crescendo. It's card draw and it pumps VV. And not only that, the card draw says we exile the top of our library, we get to play it until the end of our next turn. Bloodlust. Sick art, sick flavor, love this card. VV has a lot of toughness already, and so using this is very easy. It gives +4, -4, but often that -4 will not matter. Blue Sun Zenith. Like we talked about earlier, it's a very good way to draw cards, and it goes back in your library so we get to use it again. Borrowed Hostility. It's a way to pump our creatures or give it first strike in order to survive combat. It's an amazing combat trick. And what's great is you can escalate it to get both sides. Brainstorm. Brainstorm is a lot stronger in this deck if you know how to use your fetch lands. What you do late game is if you realize you have too many lands in your hand, you want to get rid of them, Brainstorm allows you to draw 3 cards, put 2 from your hand back on top of your library, and then use one of your fetch lands to shuffle away the cards you didn't want that you put back from your hand. Brute Force. 1 mana +3/+3? Yeah, pretty dang good. Pumps VV and triggers VV. Literally 1 mana make 4 mana. It's crazy. Consider. It's great card selection and it allows us to get things out of the top of our library that we don't want, like a land. Desperate Ritual. Desperate Ritual is really great when we need a trigger VV and we need extra mana. Fist of the Anvil. Yeah, 2 mana +4. Again, 2 mana make 5 mana. We're pretty happy with that. Frantic Search. It's extra card draw and extra mana because this says untap 3 lands and trigger VV once. So really it's pay 3, make 4. Furious Bellow. It's another pump spell that triggers VV and allows you to scry so we can get better card selection. Gimli's Fury. I love this card because it gives our legendaries trample, and so often I've needed one of my creatures to have trample and this ends the game for me. It's amazing. Infuriate is a similar card without the trample effect, but it's only 1 mana. Inordinate Rage. Again, similar card, same mana cost, except you get to scry 1. And trust me, the scrying and surveilling in this deck ends up becoming clutch when you're getting lands off the top. Into the Flood Maw. This is going to be something you want to remove. It's 1 mana to literally remove any non-land permanent. Trust me, there's nothing like it. It's perfect. Invigorating Rampage. I love the second mode of this card. It allows us to give 2 of our dragons trample and +2/+0. Memory Deluge. If you played Standard in the pandemic, then you remember how awesome this card was and have fond memories of it. It's great card selection, and later on, if you don't have anything else to do, you're going to be able to exile this from your graveyard to cast it again. Misdirection. This deck has a fair amount of blue cards in the deck, so this allows us to exile a blue card from our hand to misdirect anything targeting our creatures, normally VV. Opt. Opt allows you to draw and then scry and be able to get a land off the top of your library. And trust me, like we said earlier, scrying is very important in this deck. And it triggers VV. Pull from Tomorrow. Another big draw X spell, baby. Trust me, when you rip this off the top, when you're down to 1 card in hand late game and you got a bunch of mana, there's nothing like it. Seething Song. I included this due to the fact that a lot of people will in fact remove VV, and this allows us to get a lot of mana to get them back without needing VV on the battlefield. Sink into Stupor. It's both a land and a spell. It allows us to return target spell or permanent, non-land permanent, back into someone's hand. That means if someone casts a big 12 mana Hail Mary spell, you're gonna be able to put it back into their hand before it resolves. Snap. Snap technically says pay 2 mana, make 3 mana, and return a creature to someone's hand due to the fact that it triggers VV. Snapback. Same thing, except no untapping lands, but you can cast it for free by exiling a blue spell from your hand. Very helpful. Stroke of Genius. One of the OG big draw cards. Again, ripping this late game, nothing like it. Thought Scour. Your friends may put things on top of your libraries. You may want to remove them. This is a way to do it. It allows you to put the top 2 cards of the library into the graveyard, and you draw a card and trigger your VV. Titan Strength. 1 mana +3/+1 and scry, baby. God, it feels so good in a VV deck. Last but not least, Turn Inside Out. Turn Inside Out is a pump spell that allows us to manifest dread if the creature dies. Artifacts. Now, this is typical ramp and mana for dragon decks, but to note, do not add Lightning Greaves to this deck. It will give Shroud to VV. If VV has Shroud, you cannot target them with your pump spells. That's why we have Swiftfoot Boots instead. Enchantments. We have Dragon Tempest to give all of our dragons haste, and Draco Genesis. This allows us to cast all of our dragons for free. I've also put in Cloud to the Dominus. Again, do not put this on VV, it will give them Shroud. This wants to be on one of your dragons. Thank you again to Soul for purchasing this video. If you would like a deck custom made for you and put on live stream and or a video made for you, go to the Patreon today and get yourself a video and get yourself a deck. Again, I'd like to say thank you so much and God bless you guys for watching this video. This is a dream come true. It looks like I really am gonna be able to do this full time given how much support you've given me so far. I'm almost there where I can take care of all my normal bills with this channel, and I am so excited because I have an insane amount of projects coming out. Animated projects, merch, different art, playmats, you name it. I can't wait to show you all of it. Again, God bless. Thank you so much for watching this channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.